Hi, my name is Jaclyn and I am from Crew, Dallas, specifically in the Carrollton area. Growing up, I was extremely fortunate to grow up with two strong Christian parents as well as a lot of my extended family. However, going to church was not something that we did every Sunday. A lot of the times between my brother and I and having sports, our weekends were pretty hectic. We always had a lot of things happening on Saturdays and Sundays, and so getting involved in a church was not something that we initially did. And so I didn't really have that community starting out, but I did have really strong support around me with just my family and close friends like that. Moving forward into the time that I can remember from when I was in elementary, going into middle school especially, and on into high school, I used to have a really bad anxiety problem. And what it kind of looked like was there would be nights where I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. My stomach would just have that knot, and I was almost in tears a lot of the times because I'd put so much pressure on myself to succeed in really everything that I did. I always had to be the best at everything I did, and I felt that if I didn't reach this mark that I had set for myself, I was going to disappoint myself, and I was also going to disappoint those around me. This kind of continued throughout middle school on into high school, and kind of during this time, I knew stuff about the Bible. I knew stories, I had verses memorized. I went to church, sometimes occasionally on Christmas and Easter, and there was no doubt in my mind that God existed, but there was still kind of a piece missing to it. So my sophomore year, I guess it was, kind of at the beginning of the year, I had kind of come across Crew, and right off the bat, I, walked up to the table in the cafeteria, and the people were just super welcoming, super genuine, intentional. I mean, just kind of the people that you want to surround yourself with. And so I decided that, hey, this seems like something I'd want to get involved in. So I was very fortunate to be a part of a small group, kind of just girls' Bible study, where I met with one of our volunteers, Hunter. And basically I went to this Bible study every Monday or Tuesday, and we would meet and we'd have some sort of lesson. And it really became what I looked forward to during the week, because I was starting to grow a really close connection with Hunter and the other girls that were in it. And I felt like I was finally kind of getting that community that I had been searching for and hoping to have. During, I guess it was the month of March of 2022, I remember it very vividly, but there was a specific message that we had gone through during that Bible study. And basically at the end of the study, Hunter poses the question, and she says, if you were to die today, are you sure that you would go to heaven? And right off the bat, my initial thought was kind of a question. I kind of found myself questioning, am I? Whenever growing up, it was something that I'd always kind of assumed because, my parents were Christian, my grandparents, I kind of knew stuff, but I was kind of missing that peace in my heart, and I hadn't fully surrendered myself to the Lord. And so I found myself kind of in a position of questioning, whether or not I was going to spend eternity in heaven. So a couple days after that, I happened to be having this conversation with my dad, which was pretty typical for us to get in kind of these deep conversations. But growing up, he would always share a lot of biblical stories and was always able to kind of get a verse or some sort of parable from the Bible and connect it to really any situation I have. And so I remember I was having this conversation with him, and all of a sudden he kind of brings up his own personal testimony and the time where he finally found the Lord and became kind of a born-again Christian, and what that looked like for him. And I felt like it was kind of funny that this almost same message of salvation and surrendering your life to Christ was being repeated twice within just a couple days. And at that point, I kind of just felt, that the Lord was truly just leading me and providing every opportunity for me to hear about this message and to make that decision myself, and that he was, pretty much pushing me to make that decision. And so I can confidently say that upon making it, that anxiety, that struggle that I had for so long, it pretty much went away. I was instead filled with joy and peace and almost this consolation that could only come from the Lord, which was something that I had never experienced before. There's kind of a verse that I want to relate back to this, and it comes out of the book of Ephesians, and it's Ephesians 2, verses 8 and 9, and it says, "For it is by grace that you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast." And so kind of going through this whole time in my life, I had done typical Christian things. I was a relatively good person as what I thought. I tried really hard at school. I was involved in a lot of different stuff. I saw a lot of success in all of these things that I was doing, but there was still a piece missing. It was as if I had this void in my heart that I was trying to fill with all of these different things, and I just wasn't finding the satisfaction out of it. And I only truly found that I could find that satisfaction by allowing the Lord to come into my life and transform my heart. I would say that Crew has had a profound impact on my life. It's crazy to see just how the Lord had worked it in to my high school years, because it was really never something that I thought that I would be getting involved in. And it truly allowed me to find that community that I was looking for and have mentors and people that were able to lead me and kind of walk me along as I started kind of this new journey. Just to have more boldness, sharing my faith with other people was something that initially I would not have been very comfortable with. It's kind of that uncomfortable feeling of, are they gonna like me? Are they gonna listen to what I have to say? But through Cru, I think that they just do such an incredible job of equipping students and really sending them out to be prepared in the real world and share their faith, because the personal testimony that every single individual has will impact so many other people. And so it definitely showed me the way that my personal story is able to impact so many. And even if they don't, accept Christ right off the bat, or maybe if they don't even fully listen to my story, it's still the fact that there's a seed planted in their heart and that the Lord is going to continue to work from there.